Hello everyone and welcome to CPAC 2023. I'm your host, Amelia Kane, and joining me today is former Deputy Assistant to President Trump, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Dr. Gorka, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Love Judicial Watch.
Well, we love you. What was it like working under President Trump?
Everybody, wherever I go across the nation, whatever the topic of the speeches I'm giving, sooner or later they always ask the same question. So what's he really like? And I'm sorry to disabuse everybody. If you've seen President Trump on TV, if you've seen him in a stadium with 60,000 people, he's exactly the same as he is out there, as he is if it's just the two of you in the Oval Office. So an unstoppable force of nature. He's 23, 24 years older than me. If I had a quarter of his energy, I'd be a happy man. And he just loves America. So it's the man we need back in the White House to drain the swamp, just like Judicial Watch is doing every day.
Thank you. So is the deep state truly a threat to our country? We've heard a lot about this.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So it's funny, when I joined the administration, I refused to use the phrase deep state for the first few weeks. I thought it's a little bit extreme, a little bit of tinfoil hat kind of territory. And then I saw it in real life, and I'll give you two examples. I'd go to the National Security Council meetings in the Situation Room, in a secure skiff, and whatever the topic was, whether it was the war against ISIS, the policy against Communist China, I'd sit there for an hour and a half, and you're at the highest level of policy making in the most powerful nation in the world. You've got the CIA on the outstations, you've got the head of the NSC, departments there. And nobody was mentioning for an hour and a half the president's name or what the president wanted to achieve with regards to that specific policy item. And I was thinking, we've had an election. Do these bureaucrats think that the will of the American people doesn't matter? So after a few weeks of witnessing that, I'd stand up halfway through and the guy with the funny accent and say, excuse me everyone, can I remind you what President Trump said about China yesterday or what President Trump said about ISIS yesterday? The fact that the bureaucracy thinks they get to decide irrespective of the choice of the American people is, for me, the deep state. And then one last exemplar that was the most shocking. So when you take over administration, you come in with a small team of people. How do you man the jobs you have to do? You second bureaucrats. The NSC is 90% people from the CIA, DIA, State Department, what have you. I had a job to do. The details don't matter, and I needed some support to build a team. And I've trained a lot of people across the intelligence community, and I had 4 former students, 3 at the FBI, 1 at the CIA, and I said, I want these people detailed to the White House. As a deputy assistant to the president, I want them sent over here for 2 years, which is an utterly standard thing. The HR department of the White House said, not a problem, Dr. G, we have to transfer their clearances, and they'll be here in about a week. 6 months later, nothing. Every 2 weeks. Oh, we're just, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Finally, a very senior individual from the FBI was visiting the White House on another issue. And he peeled off that meeting and came to me and he said, Seb, I think you should know, you're never going to get those 3 former students of yours from the FBI, quote, because the 7th floor of the Hoover building, the FBI, the management, looks at this White House as the enemy, end quote. So 64 million people choose the chief executive, but the bureaucrats consider that choice by the American people to be their enemy. That, for me, is the most shocking example of the reality of the deep state. Then you add Carter Page, Mike Flynn, Bannon, Navarro, Mark Houck having his house raided by the FBI. The evidence is clear. It's real.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Gorka, for joining us.
Thank you kindly. God bless everyone. Support this organization, one of the most important organizations in America.
Perfect. Thank you so much.